Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. This is the statutorily required quarterly meeting of the School Facilities Select Committee. I have no authority to take the microphone this morning, but I'm doing it, I guess, as the immediate past vice chairman of the committee. And I hope you all reviewed the memo that came to you from Tanya. That kind of outlined the first thing that we need to do is seat our committee. So we should, I guess, entertain motions for. Oh, we better do roll. Yeah, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Select Committee on School Facilities, February 28th, 2025. Senator Dockstader,
Excused.
Senator Landon,
Here.
Senator McEwen,
Here.
Senator Rothfuss.
Here.
Senator Smith.
Here.
Representative Angelos.
Here.
Representative Bratton.
Here.
Representative Geringer.
Here.
Representative Heft. Representative Provenza.
Excused.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for that reminder, Senator. So first order of business, we need to elect leadership of the committee. Entertain motions for chairman.
Mr. Chairman?
Senator Rothfuss.
Mr. Chairman, I move to select you, Senator Bill Landon, as chairman on behalf of the Senate side.
Okay, any other nominations? Any other considerations? Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Thank you very much. Any opposed? It didn't sound like it, so I guess the train hit me. And here we go. The next order of business is to consider nominations for the vice chairman of the committee, and that should come from the House side. Do I have any nominations? Any nominations?
I nominate Representative Angelos.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Representative Geringer's motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no?
It's not a bad choice, Representative.
Representative Angelos, away we go. Congratulations, look forward to working with you. And again, welcome to the committee. Appreciate Senator Smith joining the committee and all of our newcomers on the House side. Lots to go over real quickly this morning, but it shouldn't take that long. So Tanya and Matt, if you would be willing to come forward, I would appreciate that. For those who have not had the opportunity to work with Tanya and or Matt, I'd like to give them an opportunity to just make some opening remarks before we venture into the interim. Tanya is our legal counsel, of course, for education, and then Matt is our financial guru with who does the work that we can't do without. Appreciate both of you. So, Tanya, thank you, first of all, for the memo to the committee, kind of getting us lined out and ready for today. But I'd like to ask if you would be willing to just make some opening remarks about the duties of the select committee, what is expected kind of the work we do and why we do things the way we do. Thank you, Tanya.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Tanya Heitrick, Operations Administrator. As the chairman pointed out, Matt and I have staffed this committee for a number of years. This select committee actually has statutory duties to undertake during the interim, and those can be found in 2811-301, and those are listed actually as your first item in the interim topics document if you brought that with you. And really the culmination and effort of this committee results in a budget that is presented to the Joint Appropriations Committee and the governor in the late fall for all of the K-12 capital construction needs for the state of Wyoming. As most of you are aware, we received a decision, I think 2 days ago, that also addressed school capital construction. You have a copy of that decision on your desk. There will be implications for this committee. You'll be required to respond to that in some manner. but our office at this point isn't prepared to comment on the items contained therein.
So that'll be one of the assignments for the weekend committee is to go ahead and read this document in case you're having trouble sleeping. Go ahead, Tanya.
And so part of what we'll do at the outset is to develop knowledge and expertise about the process for prioritizing buildings, how those come forward, what the role of the State Construction Department and the School Facilities Division is in this, and certainly ensure that you can rely on your staff for any questions that you have about that process. You saw this year is a little bit different. The standalone budget, House Bill 259, your school capital construction projects were actually outside of the budget bill. That's a new approach, but not unknown to the legislature. They've done that on occasion. You'll have an opportunity to make those decisions at the end of the interim. This committee also has the ability to sponsor legislation statutorily, which I think is important for you to know as well. Matt, any additional comments?
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
you.
My name is Matt Wilmarth. I'm your LSO Senior School Finance Analyst, and Tanya indicated we've been staffing this committee together for over, I'd say, 12 years as a duo. This year, we're also from Budget Fiscal Division, LSO, we're having Catherine Camerati staff alongside me to build some capacity within our Budget Fiscal Division on these items as we try to expand that capacity across LSO.
Thank you, Catherine. Welcome.
And then
Good to see you.
members of the
Yeah.
committee, we also have Ashley Phillips. She's our legislative editor that staffs all the education committees with Tanya and I. So just from my perspective, I, as Tanya indicated, and Chairman Landon, work on the numbers side of things. So I'm your in-house expert on the major maintenance and formulas and historical appropriations and how we actually finance these projects from the School Foundation Program account, and can provide you a history on how we used to finance projects through a separate school capital construction account that was repealed last year, actually 2 years ago, but last biennium. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll just leave it at that.
Matt, thank you very much. So, committee, I would just say that with these two here, we know everything that's been expended, we know why it was expended, and we know where it was spent. So any building anywhere in any one of the districts, these two can take us right to it. So really valuable team we've got. Ashley, thanks for being here. We kind of hit the mother load with our staff. So any other questions to get started this morning with Tanya or Matt? Thank you for those introductory remarks, you guys. We may have a question a little bit later. Thank you. Back to you, Tanya.
Mr. Chairman, just the last item, which maybe is the most important, the dates for the upcoming interim. May 30th, August 20th, and October 27th. All of those are in Casper, certainly subject to change based on the chairman and the vice chairman's direction. But as you all know, the interim calendar is filling up. So we just wanted to sketch in those dates. And there is some rationale with the dates, both with the State Construction Department, School Facility Commission schedule, when their budget will come to you, and when the recommendation is due to the JAC and the governor. So again, May 30th, August 20th, and October 27th. And I do believe that Ms. Phillips sent appointments, or if not, she will soon.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, everybody should have those appointments on their calendar. If you don't, please let me know.
Okay, thank you very much, you guys. Thanks for that reminder. Appreciate it, Tanya and Matt. Director, I'd love to have you and Shelby come forward if you would and offer some remarks and observations and kind of point us toward this interim coming up. I'm looking forward to it. Director, good to see you.
I'm Del McCombie. I'm the director for the State Construction Department.
Shelby Carlson, School Facilities Division Administrator.
Okay.
And condolences, Mr. Chairman, and to Representative Angelos. Looking forward to working with the committee. There's a lot of new faces here, and so it's going to be a learning curve. As the chairman said, there's an awful lot of stuff we've done over years and an awful lot of rules and regulations, some new stuff that'll be headed your way. We do brief this committee on any new rules and regulations and ask for your feedback into those as those come out. So one of the things that we're tasked with every 4 years is going back and looking at the design standards and the adequacy standards, and we're in that process right now. So as we kind of work through that, Mr. Chairman, we'll be briefing this committee on that and perhaps visiting to try and get some feedback from you all as to, you know, kind of where we're at on that process. As was mentioned earlier by Tanya, we do have a commissioner that we report to, and you'll see those faces here at the meeting. They often attend. We welcome you to attend any of the commissioners' meetings and certainly can get that schedule. I think the schedule is already out and they could forward that to you. We typically, in some of those, we have those out around the state and walk through schools at that point in time, visit with the districts. And so again, you're certainly welcome if you have time and we're in your area and want to come stop through and walk through with the commission, attend a meeting. We'd certainly appreciate that also. I think we're going to have a very robust, I was just looking at the list of items there, very robust discussion this summer. And it's I think on the first part of that, probably getting everybody back up to speed as to kind of what we need to do and what we do. And for any of you that want to come out to the office and visit, if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us. And we can certainly try and fill you in as to why we do what we do and how we do it. We have an awful big database on the schools around the state. Again, as was mentioned when Tanya and Matt were up here, we know where all the schools are at. We know how many classrooms are in a school, how many students are in a school, what the condition of those schools are. And so we try to provide that information in a various means of different reports. For example, on major maintenance, you'll see what we call a 680 report. So the districts are required to report to us on how they spend their major maintenance throughout the year. We'll probably inundate you at times with data. And again, don't be afraid to ask us about the details in that or even what it means probably in some cases. I will try, and I know Shelby will try and be succinct when we can. And if we start using some acronyms and jargons you don't understand, stop us and ask. And again, we look forward, Mr. Chairman, to working with you. And we've had an awful lot of years with dealing with the commission and members of the committee at one form or another. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for the Director of our State Construction Department? Okay, Shelby, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. How about some comments from the School Facilities Division?
Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. I too look forward to working with you over the interim. Some of the big items that, we see on our plate moving through this year, we still have about 19 most cost-effective remedy studies in play right now. We will have one of those before our commission on March 19th. Another one I anticipate about a month later. And then I think we'll see quite a few of these come in fairly quick. And then we've got a few more that that'll come on our radar based on the upcoming FCI, Facility Condition Index report, as well as capacity. So there'll be some more of those studies coming. One of the big things that we are working on is we want to work with the facility managers as we have the new FCA report. It's more dynamic than we've had in the past. And so how do we adjust some of those scores when work has been completed? So if we put in a whole new system, that's pretty easy. But if we just go in and do repair work, what type of adjustment do we make to the score, which then in the end affects that final FCI score? So that'll be one of the big things we're working on. The director mentioned adequacy standards and design guidelines. And then the other thing we're working pretty hard on is updating our commission contracts. So we hope to get that finished fairly soon. With that,
Okay.
I'd take any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carlson. Good to see you. Any questions, committee? Appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully you can hang tough. We're going to go to any other testimony this morning, but we may have a question for you a little later, so thank you. Okay, I'd like to invite anyone else up who'd like to address the committee with any topic considerations or encouragements or discouragements. Anybody want to come forward? Bless you. Good morning. You look familiar, but maybe you could tell us who you are for the record, and good morning.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Dan Solaroli, Director of Facilities, Sweetwater County School District Number 1. I've been coming to these meetings for 21 years. I've worked under every facility director from Bubba Shivler to Dell, then back to Dell. And I just wanted to actually introduce myself. I also am a member of the Wyoming Facility Managers Association. 23 out of 48 school district managers, facility directors get together. We've been in existence for about 10 years. COVID came and we kind of went virtual, and that kind of destroyed most committees. But we're back together. We plan on working closely with the school facilities division as far as the facility assessment scores. Like I said, I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've seen lots of legislation come and fall by the wayside and move forward. If anybody has any questions today or any other time, you can get me at Sweetwater County School District Number 1. The school facilities division has my contact information as well, and I offer any services to this committee because I think it's important. You'll see me at almost every meeting. Like I said, I've been around for 21 years. Rarely do I miss a meeting. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Dan, thank you. Always good to have you around, and the managers are really valuable to us, so appreciate it. Any questions, committee? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Brian Farmer. I'm the Executive Director at Wyoming School Boards Association. Like Dan, I've been doing this for a long time. Back when Bubba was around as the director, I was a school board member. So I had experience in building schools on that side. My construction experience goes back farther than that. My father was a contractor, so carried a hammer from as soon as I was able to pick one up. But Mr. Chairman, as far as the School Boards Association goes, just want to let you know that we want to be a resource to the committee throughout the interim and into the session, that there are times where you have a desire to get information, to know more about something. And committee, I think you should know that you're very lucky to have excellent staff. Matt and Tanya do a really fantastic job, but sometimes you just want to reach out and say, hey, can you help us get some additional information? And we want to be able to do that for you, to provide you with the information that you need. And I think the department, Dell has been a really great partner, somebody to work with, and we feel like there is a good partnership there. So we want to continue to be a partner. But committee members, I do see that there are from very veteran members to brand new members. And there's a lot of history that goes into this committee, a lot of terms that have been used over the past. And things don't always mean what you think they mean. So when you hear something like major maintenance, that's really a term of art. That's not something that just means maintenance. There's routine maintenance, there's major maintenance, there are component projects, there are capital construction projects, and some of those terms have not even carried the same meaning over time. And so I think it's important to know about those. And perhaps the term that you would encourage you to spend some time learning about is a term called suitability. And suitability is something that is referenced in that court case that Ms. Hytrack talked about. And if that ends up being a direction that the state has to go, it's something we really need to understand. What is it? What does it mean? How do we measure it? And how does that impact schools? And so that's not going to be an easy job. That's been something that we've struggled with over the years to try to figure out what that term is and what it means and how do we apply it to our school facilities. So just want to be a partner to you to do what we can to assist you. And finally, I want to also let you know that Wyoming School Boards Association administers an insurance program for a joint powers board. A number of the school districts belong to something known as the School Risk Retention Program, SIRP. And SIRP is probably the largest property casualty insurer for school districts in the state. And so when you want to know about insurance and what's happening on the insurance side for our state facilities, we can also bring you information on that. Not every school district does. Many of the larger school districts have third-party carriers, and that's certainly another a piece to think about and talk about. And sometimes we even talk about how that impacts statute. So when something happens to a facility, what is the responsibility of insurance? What is the responsibility of the state? What's the difference between a replacement value and a construction value? Those are things that you don't always think about, but they come along and they can impact the work that you do. So just want to offer to be a resource to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Mr. Farmer, thank you very much. And yeah, we were just, Senator Rothfuss and I were looking at each other on the suitability front. We actually had that in statute at one time and then kind of struggled with how to really define it and use it. And so it was taken out of the statutes and now it reappears in a court case. So much ahead on that front. Any questions for Mr. Farmer? Okay, thank you very much, Brian, appreciate
Senator?
it. Oh, excuse me, go ahead. Madam Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually do have a question just briefly on your school risk retention program. The wildfires just ravaged our area and we're already seeing some of our commercial businesses, churches losing their insurance. And this was 5 miles from where the fire was. Are we seeing that with the schools?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mr. Farmer.
It's too early to say on that. School districts right now are in the process of looking at what next year's insurance is going to look like. So specifically with the school risk retention program, that's a partially self-insured program. So the program relies on premiums paid by member districts and then buys reinsurance. And so the reinsurance market is not just a state market. Reinsurance is impacted by national forces. And so when you have hurricanes, when you have wildfires, when you have natural disasters, you certainly have seen the costs of supplies and materials increase, and that's likely to be even more so, particularly as Los Angeles rebuilds in the next coming years. And then that also impacts the insurance market. So the hurricanes and everything that have particularly hit Florida have caused a lot of commercial carriers to pull out of and pull coverage from the eastern seaboard. And the impacts to that have an impact to the national market. So as school districts now are sort of thinking about this, we're looking at both our own experience, because in the world of insurance, claims drive premiums. And so we're looking at what has been the claim experience of Wyoming school districts, and then you balance that against the cost of reinsurance. So we're in that process of going out to bid now, finding out what reinsurance costs are going to be to us, but we have not seen the direct loss of structures as a result of wildfires in our school districts. And so that's a fortunate thing, but how does it impact us? We should know that here in the coming months, probably around the time of your first meeting, we would know more about that.
Okay, thank you. Good question, Representative. On the Corporations Committee, the topic of insurance has been a big one. And I think going forward on all fronts, we'll be talking about insurance as a public policy issue for a while. Good question. So thank you, Mr. Farmer. Good morning, Lloyd.
Mr. Chairman, Boyd Brown, I'm the Executive Director for the Wyoming Association of School Administrators, which is the school superintendent organization in the state. Again, just want to offer our work with you. I would tell you that superintendents will probably send most of their facilities people to your meetings and to the construction meetings. Really appreciate the work, again, that your staff does, both your LSO staff and the school facilities and Wyoming facilities staff do a great job. Feel like we work together well with them. I will tell you that superintendents will be cyclical with you. Superintendents are going to care when they have schools. I was going to say Campbell County right now, Teton County, Rock Springs. So that's going to be cyclical. And sometimes, if you're a smaller district, I was in the smallest district in the state. Once you're taken care of, you're probably taken care of for 50 years. If you're in some of the larger districts, Laramie One, Casper, Gillette, you're going to see those guys frequently because of the way they just roll through, and you're going to have school after school, and 50 years will happen. But we're here to help. We'll be there to argue with you at times. We're going to be there to support you at times, but know that if you need something, get a hold of us. If you need to talk to somebody, we can work with you to help with whatever we need to do. I've started at the first meeting of this committee whenever it was a young one, when I was an associate superintendent in Campbell County. So I have a long history with it. Usually don't go to very many of your meetings, watch some of them. But if you need me at a meeting, I'd be happy to be here and happy to help with anything that we can. So with that, I'd take any questions.
Okay, Mr. Brown, thank you. Any questions, committee? So, Mr. Brown, real quickly, I think you were the superintendent up in Campbell County, the first Mercer study we ever did up there. And of course, here we are almost a decade later, finally addressing that high school that's been on the radar screen for a long time, hasn't it?
Yes, and I can tell you I was the principal at that high school when it started to get pinholes in the sewer system. So, yeah, and that was 1997, 98, somewhere in there.
Yeah, and I think when I finally came along and in the mid-teens, we talked about maybe trying to find a way to stage that project in Campbell County, thinking that maybe that building could be renovated, save some of that square footage, because that's above square footage up there, and that looked promising for a while, but it just wasn't going to work, was it?
Mr. Chairman, no, and part of it was just the way it was added on.
Yeah.
I mean, we added onto that building prior to the School Facilities Commission by, I think, 4 times, and a lot of hallway space in that building. So,
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. Appreciate you being here this morning. Morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Carrie Klein with the Wyoming Public Charter School Association, and I'm going to age myself a little bit. I graduated from Campbell County in '91, and I'm pretty sure we're not responsible, my class, for the condition of those pinholes in the sewer. So we took care of our building with all due diligence. Yes,
you treated
Mr. Chairman.
everything with great respect, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you would have already received an interim topic request submitted, and we submitted this in collaboration. We worked with not only Director McComey's office, but also the governor's office and the state superintendent's office to really look at charter schools. First of all, I'm not coming and saying that the charter schools are going to ask you to build them buildings. That's not what we're asking this time or ever, I don't think. What we are looking is, we'd like to take a look at how charter schools fit in the process that the state uses to fund, to build, to maintain school facilities. So just really looking at ways that we can acknowledge that charter schools probably have a little bit of a different facility need when you look at their mission and what it might take to accomplish that. Acknowledge the state investment in buildings that are potentially already there, and then really looking at ways that we can accommodate both without placing charter schools in any kind of a disadvantage when they have to make business decisions on facilities. So just reviewing these areas, I do want to also echo and thank the immense amount of expertise that the staff here provide in this topic. They've been doing it for a long time and know a lot. And just really looking forward to working with all the parties involved on how we can really flesh this out. I do think it's incumbent upon our association and the charter school group to really try and bring solutions and ideas to the table, not just show up at a meeting and say, hey, this needs addressed, how can you fix it? So we are working hard to set that up so that we can come to you with maybe some different ideas and see how those fit with how we can move forward. So that's the ask, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate that, Ms. Klein. Thank you. Committee, any questions? I think the director and Ms. Carlson have an interest in this front too, and I think it's incumbent upon the committee to continue to try to get arms around this whole charter school picture. You know, as we stand these up, we've got to make sure that we're prepared to take care of them, and we're not quite sure where that fits yet. So I think we've got work to do there, committee, and appreciate Ms. Klein, you being there to help us think of some new ideas maybe. So,
Thank you.
all right. Okay, would anyone else like to come forward this morning? Okay, committee, we have suggested interim topics sitting in front of you. I would entertain any discussion. I would tell you that the vice chairman and I will get together and we'll try to probably include these things that have been suggested. But let's go through them. Senator Rothfuss, you've got one related to this charter school topic that I just referenced.
Mr. Chairman, in fact, I have two that are related to charter schools. The department is obviously interested and has specific interests regarding to leasing, building oversight, and a lot of the recent legislation that we've worked on. And then I did work with Ms. Klein also, recognizing their interests. So the two topics that I've got are both just related to kind of different viewpoints, but bringing those together into a common topic. And I see that you've also got a charter school topic that you're bringing. So it does seem like it's a year to look at charter school facilities, and I think it's very appropriate timing for us to get that right and make sure that we're treating our charter schools equitably, but understanding what the costs associated with those are. So I do think that's important. And Mr. Chairman, I also, looking at your list, that it includes one that I know we've talked a lot about, major maintenance, I think is a priority for us once again to take a look at. We've looked at it quite a few times in the past, but we did have Senator Driscoll's Senate File 156 this year, and his interest was ensuring that we take a look at whether our major maintenance funding was getting to major maintenance or whether it was being used in other ways. So maybe exploring that a little bit. Also a great opportunity just to educate the committee on our major maintenance approach. And we did have this bill that we sponsored from the select committee. I think that's limping along in the House. I'm not sure. I think it's on the general file list, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know whether it's gonna come through or not. I'd actually look over if anyone knows, has been paying careful attention to that.
Hard to remember. Do you remember the number?
I don't remember the number. What's our number
Mr.
on that?
Chairman, Senator Office, it's Senate File 34. It increases the multiplier for the major
Yep.
maintenance formula from 2
Senate
to
File
2.5%. It's on general file. It passed out of House Appropriations Committee, I
Gotcha.
believe, yesterday morning.
Okay, great.
And that committee is all related to how much do we give these districts to maintain those buildings? And that's been a constant topic in my 12 or 14 years of being on this committee, and appropriately so. I mean, we've got 25 million square feet that we've got to take care of out across, and so you'll see that on your side. So Senator Rothfuss, please continue. Any other thoughts regarding these interim topics?
The suitability relates, I think, to the court decision, and that's obviously going to be a topic that we have to consider. So it's probably our topic number one priorities. Got to be the court decision, and then our statutory. So I feel like what we see here is certainly the list that I think we need to manage, and it's not too lengthy of a list, but there's a lot of meat on the bones of what we see here. So.
Yeah, I think committee, this gives us, these topics give us a pretty full interim. Really happy to have Senator Rothfuss alongside. He's been on this committee for a while. I've been on the committee for a while. Senator McEwen, would you have any comments for the interim? You are a returning member of this committee. I'm glad to have you back. And any thoughts?
I think I agree. I think the big issue is going to be the court decision, what that really means. It hasn't gone through the Supreme Court yet, and I don't know if it will or not, but we should consider it. But I think when we consider it, we need to keep in mind it's not definitely marching orders either.
Well, Senator McEwen, really enjoyed the last 2 years with you, and I think you would agree that this committee is a very hard-working committee. So welcome aboard. We do a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort for our staff, but I think you'll learn a great deal.
You'll spend the first session or the first interim drinking out of a fire hose.
It is a fire.
Kind of like a hog looking at a wristwatch.
That is the first time I've ever heard that.
Okay, so I've never,
I'm ready to go down.
I've never heard that one. Oh, my goodness.
Where's the money?
Other members of the committee would value any thoughts or input. Madam Vice Chairman, anything to add to that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I think we're seeing kind of a theme coming through all of the topics. Charter schools, definitely the court decision. I think that is high priority. I appreciate that. Coming from a community that's trying to get a school built, I'm excited to see how this process goes and just all the calculations that go into it. I think that that's a huge part, another part of the state government that is fascinating and much needed. I mean, that's a big part of our budgeting, so I'm excited.
Appreciate that. Look forward to working with you, Vice Chairman. And committee, anything else? Any suggestions that of even a minor topic that you want to make sure we look at during the interim? If you think of something, please get back to the representative or me, and we will make sure to include when we sit down with staff we will put these meetings together in a fashion that hopefully gives us the best opportunity to get arms around them. I would tell you this, as you go forward on this committee, it's been fascinating. This effort was patterned after our water statutes. It's literally set up exactly like select water. And so, but it's different in that when we bring forward anything out of the Select Committee on School Facilities, it's probably the most scrutinized bill every single session. So that's why we spend the kind of time that we do to make sure that we've crossed every T, dotted every I, and we work very closely with our agency folks who do a spectacular job, but we try to make sure we know everything we can about why we're bringing forward what we're bringing. So can't wait to do the work with all of you. I don't have anything else. Anybody have anything for Representative Geringer?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And yeah, I'm excited to be on this committee as well. I do want to point out, I believe Representative Brown also sent us all an email on a proposed interim topic dealing with cooperative purchasing. Wondering what your thoughts might be on that.
Thank you, Representative. I honestly, I forgot all about that email that came, I think, a couple of days ago. And the former chairman certainly will get our consideration. Madam Vice Chairman, maybe we can meet with staff before we leave from the session and kind of sit down and go through that. But so I'm looking over at the staff. If you could help us to remind you that Representative Brown sent that.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Representative Geringer, if you wouldn't mind sending that to me, that would be great. Then we can work it into the proposed interim topic letter for review by the chairman and the vice chairwoman.
Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. And so the vice chairman and I will Obviously, at the end of March, we will present to the management council. It's always up to them as to whether or not they agree with our topics. I'm getting the message that this management council is going to be very approving of what committees feel like they want to work on. So, okay, I think we better all get upstairs. We've got busy days ahead of us, and thank you, committee. I look forward to the days ahead on the select committee on